Harvard University embodies what innovation looks like when it has everything it needs. With a $50 billion endowment, an army of the world's top scholars, and unmatched prestige, Harvard has the autonomy to pursue cutting-edge research. Its laboratories conduct long-term, high-risk experiments in fields from gene editing and climate science to artificial intelligence, projects that many other institutions cannot even begin, let alone sustain. Because Harvard's faculty publish influential papers, write op-eds, and testify before Congress, the university enjoys outsized influence on the national stage. Its ideas don't merely circulate in academic journals, they shape federal policy and define national conversations on education, science, and public health. For instance, Harvard's recent innovations in biotech and renewable energy research have genuinely moved fields forward. The controversy, therefore, isn't that Harvard fails at innovation. It's that Harvard excels so spectacularly that it overshadows other institutions. This success seems self-justifying. Harvard's status reinforces its autonomy produces ambitious experimentation, and experimentation yields impactful ideas that further justify the very system that sustains Harvard's advantage. Viewed from inside the gates, Harvard's system of innovation is undeniably impressive, coherent, and productive. But from outside the Ivy League bubble, the situation looks entirely different. Across the nation, many universities, public colleges, state universities, community colleges, struggle under shrinking budgets, unpredictable funding cycles, and constant political interference. Without Harvard's deep pockets, these institutions lack genuine autonomy, forced instead to tailor their research agendas to fit narrow, short-term funding opportunities. Experimental ideas are risky, and in this environment, risk-taking is discouraged, not rewarded. Faculty at these institutions may have groundbreaking concepts and insights, but without stable support, ambitious research rarely survives beyond the drawing board. Consequently, understanding, the ability to generate new knowledge, have it tested by peers and translated into influential policy, is diminished outside elite institutions. Good ideas born in underfunded institutions rarely make it to national prominence because the platforms and mechanisms to amplify them simply aren't there. The result is a divided landscape, one in which Harvard, MIT, Stanford, and a few others speak loudly, while thousands of capable researchers elsewhere remain unheard, their innovations unseen or unsupported. This imbalance generates understandable resentment. Recent federal attacks on Harvard, such as the Trump administration's decision to freeze billions in research grants or revoke Harvard's certification to enroll international students, are partly responses to this perceived imbalance. They reflect a public frustration with Harvard's dominance, not necessarily with the quality of its scholarship, but with the disproportionate power Harvard wields in shaping research priorities and policies nationwide. This conflict isn't about the quality of Harvard's research. Instead, it revolves around a feedback loop that keeps innovation concentrated at the top. Harvard's influential status translates directly into policy recommendations, such as how to structure federal research funding, that inadvertently preserve its institutional advantage. Harvard's voice helps shape a system of competitive grants and selective funding, which favors institutions that already have ample resources, rather than leveling the playing field. In turn, universities without Harvard's resources are trapped in perpetual uncertainty. Constantly competing for limited grants prevents them from planning long-term projects or investing in truly innovative work. The recent controversy around anti-Semitism or foreign influence at Harvard, though significant, only serves as a trigger for broader public frustration. The underlying issue is that Harvard's institutional stability highlights how unstable and precarious funding is elsewhere, intensifying resentment and political backlash. Yet Harvard cannot fully address this criticism without undermining its own position. Defending its autonomy and funding might protect its current excellence, but simultaneously reinforces the unequal system that angers critics. The paradox is clear. Harvard genuinely contributes valuable innovations, yet does so within a system that inherently limits the broader national potential for innovation. This paradox exists because both views, Harvard's justified pride in its innovative success and the broader national frustration with systemic inequity, are simultaneously correct. Harvard genuinely is innovative, autonomous, and influential. But this reality coexists with another equally real truth. The system that supports Harvard denies stable funding and autonomy to many other institutions, choking innovation elsewhere. The solution isn't to dismantle Harvard, which would merely lower the ceiling of American research excellence. Nor can Harvard successfully defend its position without addressing the broader inequities in the research funding system. Instead, policymakers and educators must recognize that innovation thrives best when it is broadly distributed, predictable, and inclusive, conditions currently lacking in American higher education. The real problem revealed by the current controversy isn't Harvard's success. It's the unpredictability and instability of research funding elsewhere. To solve this, research funding must be democratized and stabilized nationwide. A practical solution would be to shift federal research funding from the competitive, politically volatile grant system to stable, predictable block grants based on institutional enrollment. Under such a system, each university, whether Harvard or a regional public institution, would receive annual funding proportional to its size, student population, and research scale. Universities could then plan long-term, take genuine intellectual risks, and maintain research continuity without fearing sudden shifts in federal policy or politically motivated cuts. Harvard would retain its excellence, but it would no longer monopolize stable, secure funding. This would not eliminate competition or excellence, but would instead expand the landscape of innovation across the country. Researchers from institutions currently trapped in funding cycles could finally undertake ambitious experiments, pursue ideas without fear, and contribute meaningfully to national dialogues and policy formation. Harvard's affirmed state, autonomy, experimentation, understanding could be replicated more broadly, replacing resentment with a healthier competition of ideas. In short, the debate should not focus on tearing Harvard down, but rather on extending the conditions that enable innovation to flourish nationwide. By creating predictable, secure, and broadly accessible research funding, the United States can finally realize its full innovative potential, beyond Harvard and for everyone.